I think we dream so we don't have to be apart for so long. If we're in each other's dreams, we can be together all the time. Winnie the Pooh.
Mummy never liked much fanfare or a fuss made over her, but she will have to put up with me celebrating her life on film. April 26, 1935, Shirley Philippa Collins first opened her eyes to this world. Born the first of 7 children to Grace and Percy, better known as Tookie, Collins. Even though Grace gave birth to Shirley in Yonkers, New York, the trio returned to Trinidad to begin their new life together. Throughout Mummy's life, she would live in several different countries, including, as I said before, Trinidad, England, Barbados, her most favorite of places, Switzerland, and America. Mummy grew up in an idyllic setting of climbing coconut trees, swimming in the sea at Collins Bay, her family's weekend home down the islands, and running pretty wild with her siblings till they were called home for dinner. She was a great storyteller, and Alec and I loved to hear the stories of her childhood adventures. What mischievous children she and her brother Peter were, catching crabs to frighten their great aunt Toadie to death, among other things. Needless to say, they were frequently in trouble. She loved fishing, playing ping pong, which she was actually pretty good at, and learning the latest dance steps. She was quite a good dancer, even though she would always defer to her younger sisters, Carol and Marilyn, as the better ones. Rounding off the 7 siblings were David, Dune, and Shane. She adored her brothers and sisters, even though she was a child herself. Her motherly instinct was already there as she looked after them, as their parents traveled quite a lot. Mummy was an accomplished cook. Her grandchildren, Mara, Freddie, and Connor, were always excited when the delicious smell of Granny's cooking filled the house. We always hovered around her asking when it would be ready. While going through her things, I found hundreds of recipes stuffed everywhere. I suppose that having gone from school to school as a child, she felt that she wasn't educated enough. So one day she decided to educate herself by reading the dictionary. She was an excellent speller. I never had to look up anything. She was in fact very well educated, as she attended the University of Life. Mummy laughed so much. I remember listening to the grown-ups in the evening, firing their scotch and sodas and laughing up a storm. I found many jokes she had saved from Reader's Digest and elsewhere. Oh, and lots of funny greeting cards, just in case. I can sometimes hear her laughter in my own. I always hear how compassionate and genuine she was to everyone, regardless of who they were. She prided herself on being precise and fair and taught Alec and I to be honest, kind, and generous. The phrase, "she will give you the shirt off her back," was something I heard many times to describe her. She also wasn't afraid of hard work and did so to give Alec and I a good stable environment to grow up in. We never wanted for anything. Mummy was someone to look up to. She was an example that every adult should aspire to be. I have always said that my father taught us optimism and my mother taught us how to love. What I will always keep in my heart about Mummy is how grateful I am that she was mine.
Shirley has always been a very special person to us. I remember meeting Shirley for the first time, being extremely nervous about it. I was quite young at the time, but she made us feel so wanted and accepting. And from that day forward, she became a really big part of our life. Shirley was always very kind person to everyone. She made us feel a part of her life I remember things like going down to Collins Bay, down the islands, which we loved as kids. And she made sure that whenever they went, we were invited, whether we could go or couldn't go, but she made sure we were invited. I remember when we lived in Denver and wanted to come down to Florida, called Shirley and told her we were coming down, and she said, well, come and stay with me. So after a while we decided, yes, we will do that until we got settled and moved on. When we got down here to Florida, Shirley said to us that night, I want you all to have my room, which was a master bedroom. Of course, we said, no, Shirley, we don't need to do that. And she said, no, you will be more comfortable, and I'll be much happier if you all were there and had the privacy and so on that you wanted. So she gave up her room for us. It was so typical of Shirley. And we lived with Shirley, Robin, and Alex. I can't remember exactly for how long, but it really was like having a family again. And we stayed there, I believe it was for about at least a year, something like that, until we moved on. While there, Robin, I'll never forget, she wanted to learn to drive, so I took Robin around the block, and Robin hit a tree, damaged Shirley's car, and again, I specify Robin was driving and Robin hit the tree. So us getting back home, we're very nervous to tell Shirley anything. But typical Shirley, all she was concerned about was that everybody was okay, and never brought back up the subject about the car damage. But she was like that. She just was such a kind person, nice person, and a lot of fun to be around. She had such a great sense of humor. We miss Shirley very much. It's even hard to be talking about her like this now that she's gone. But we love you, Shirley. You always were so special in my life. And we do miss you very, very much. Lots of love. Bye.
This is Sandy, married to Steve, Shirley's stepson, my darling Robbie Young and Alec. Shirley, your beautiful mother, was the epitome of grace and class. I was blessed to have had Shirley as a trusted friend and a precious mother-in-law. We stayed in touch over the years, and nothing swayed her stoic disposition. With an infectious laugh etched in my brain, her outlook on life was always of a positive and cheerful nature. I know that Shirley would only want us all to live life to the fullest, whatever that means, and with the grace by which she lived hers, with no regrets. Shirley will be terribly missed, but I live with the consolation that she's living it up with our beloved Scotty in heaven. Never forget that your mother was devoted to you both and were her reason for life. Sending lots of love and God's blessings, my darlings, to you both. Fred, Mara, Freddie, and Connor.
My name is Marion, and I met Shirley over 30 years ago through my lovely friend Robin. From the beginning, I've always viewed Shirley as such a beautiful and gentle woman. I will never forget the time she so graciously offered her car and a place to stay with her during a particularly difficult time in my life. Her ability to show empathy to my unfortunate situation was especially touching. While I wasn't during the best of circumstances, I will forever cherish the memory, holding it close to my heart, of the time we had together and the many conversations that transpired. She was truly an elegant lady with emphasis on lady. She always felt like a second mother to me. It's especially hard to have lost them both now, but I have no doubt she is shining her light and love where she is and making sure everyone there has enough to eat of her delicious food. Both my daughter Milana and I feel fortunate and thankful for having known her, and we wish only the best and continued healing for Robin, Mara, Freddie, Fred, and Alec, and all the family and friends that were touched by Shirley's presence while she was with us.
Hi, this is Sheena Marie Knowles. I was mostly raised by my grandparents, including my loving grandmother, Patricia Hamelsmith, better known as Pat. Auntie Shirley was her fondest cousin, the Collinses' side. They forever enjoyed a wonderful closeness of fond, happy laughs together. I grew up with and shared this closeness with Auntie Shirley and, of course, my beloved Robin and Alec forever. To this day, I will always forever treasure the warm-hearted, sweet love and kindness, fun laughter and joy of this beautiful, special lady who touched my heart in so many ways that I can't express in words. I will forever be grateful for. Auntie Shirley, thank you for your life. I will always reminisce sweetly of you. Thank you for sharing your love. God bless you, love you, and keep you always. Until we meet again.
Hey everyone. So I loved Granny very dearly. She's been there pretty much my whole life. Always asking if I was hungry, and when she wasn't doing that, she was cooking something. She had a killer curry for sure, but yeah, no, she was always in good humor. She always had a good sense of humor about a lot of things. I remember there was this one time when we were playing Cards Against Humanity, right? And I'm pretty sure she won that time. It was pretty funny. It was a good time. Yeah, no, I miss her dearly. She was a good force for good in the world, and yeah, she's in a better place now for sure.
My grandmother, Shirley Philippa Anderson, was an extraordinary woman. She was modest, but everyone who knew her would agree she was a saint, sweet as sugar. Shirley had a magical ability to make people feel at home, captivating them with her culinary gifts and legendary storytelling. She was quite creative, though she'd never admit it. Alongside crafting authentic Trinidadian and British cuisine, she was adept at knitting and crafted everything from scarves to hats and dolls, many of which I still have with me today. She loved music, and I'd often wake to her singing like Julie Andrews while making eggs for breakfast. Shirley was not only kind but resilient. She believed in decency above all else, even toward those who may not have deserved it. She had exceptional manners and would simultaneously take no BS in the nicest way possible. She never compromised her standards nor boundaries, but supported others in having them as well, enjoying the finer things in life whenever possible. When life got rough, she always reminded us to enjoy the little things, whether it was a sunny day or a nice cup of tea. She was a lady of perspective, grace, and wisdom. She also loved a good laugh, and I'll never forget the way it sounded when pure joy rang through her heart. Her laughter was my favorite wisdom. I miss her very much.
Hi, Granny. I miss you really a lot. I hope you feel better. And you're like the best Granny ever. Love you. Bunches.
Hi Robin, hi Alec. Wanting to send so much love to you on the anniversary of Mummy's passing. Shirley was, as we all know, the most wonderful human being. And this isn't said lightly, it's because she really, really was. Singly, the kindest, funniest sister one could ever wish to have. She was so generous to a fault. And I miss her terribly. And thank you, Robin, for all your correspondence throughout her illness and for all our lovely chats. I think we miss her terribly. She was such a unique and valid human spirit to be around. She never ceased to make me laugh. Her humour was that, actually it was the real Collins style humour, wasn't it? And I think we've all got that. We all see the funny in the worst, which is, thank God we do.
We have all spoken about Mummy's sense of humor, but the one person that she laughed the most with was my dad. Mummy and Daddy remained close friends throughout Daddy's life. During his hard times, she was always there to support him and make sure he was well. I know Daddy considered her his best friend. Before he died, he made sure to come and say goodbye to her. She loved him dearly, and I know she took his hand as he guided her into the light. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That's what you should do every day. Forget physical therapy.